Well, that was an abrupt ending to our intro, but hey, that's okay. Sorry about missing yesterday, folks. Working on that Kentucky Derby wagering guide for a guaranteed tip sheet. There you go, right there. And all of its glory. Look at how long this bad boy is, Terry.
Wow.
That's a lot of writing, folks. And
it is.
Aside from the writing, I mean, every single thing that we do on this show, from the pace to the simulations, to the hand handicapping, to all the angles, to checking the internal numbers. I mean, every single thing that we do goes in to those selections. You can get, they're up and available for Friday and Saturday over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. You can get the picks or you can get the wagering guide. It's up to you what level you want to go. There is a link down in the description below. Kindly use that. I can tell you, after going through those cards, Terry, I'm sure after you went through both cards as well, yes, tomorrow at about maybe a little bit later than where we are right now, we'll get together, me, you, and Tom. We're going to do the Oaks Derby double on Oaks Day, and then we're going to do the Pick Six on Saturday. And I think going through that, there's a lot of races where there's maybe 10 horses in the field, and you can say, 9 of them can win this race.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Pretty wide open in a lot of those races. So
yeah, which is the way it's supposed to be on the Oaks and Derby Day. And I can say that one of the things about going through, whether it's on our show or the picks over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet, the wagering guide, all of the above, you can't ever expect them to be perfect, right? It's not possible. If it were, we certainly wouldn't share them if we were perfect, right? We would be over on our own island.
That's right.
Somewhere else betting on the races today instead of in my island basement down here, my dungeon in Chicago. But nonetheless, not perfect, but 1,000% is prepared, probably more prepared than anybody else, Terry. And we bring that same mentality to our free picks to a Guaranteed Tip Sheet today. The free picks are at Turf Paradise. Again, there is a link down in the description below. But we're off to Churchill Downs, where we were supposed to be yesterday. It is where we are today. It's sunny down there. May not be sunny tomorrow or Saturday, though. They have some rain in the forecast. So let's enjoy the turf racing and the fast racing while we can. Starting in the opener today, race number 1.
Yep, it's a 6 furlong race. It's a maiden claiming race, $10,000 claiming price, $30,000 per purse for maiden, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and upward.
Yeah, they got to get all these maiden stuff out of the way, right?
Yep.
Ain't no room for them the next couple days, Terry. All right. So at 6 furlongs in the last year or most recent meet at Churchill Downs, the profile of a winner favored horses with tactical speed. Surprisingly, so I went through for both tomorrow and Saturday as well as for today. Churchill does, it's kind of known as a speed track, but really it's more of a tactical speed track. You don't necessarily want to be on the front. You got a good chance to be on the front. But usually front half is the best place to be, although at 6 furlongs, 27% still managed to go wire to wire. A little bit of a rail discount for Chiquita Reina, 2 and 3. They get a discount. 4 through 7 almost play fair. The best place to be, Terry, is 8 and out in the opener. We do 10,000 simulations looking for using speed figures. We want to see how many times they won a speed figure. From there, we calculate our own odds, looking for an overlay where our simulation odds are lower than the post-time odds. Then we also want to see how many times, you can see here, all red zeros. So none of them in our 10,000 simulations ran a speed figure above 74, which is the Brisnet par number for this level. We don't get anything from Brisnet. We should, damn it, sponsor our show. Hey, if you use Brisnet, tweet out at those people at Brisnet. Sponsor Terry and Rich. They talk so nice about your stuff.
That's right.
We mentioned that speed 27% of the time does go wire to wire. So we want to know who's going to be where at the quarter-mile marker. And then based upon our projected pace, which horses are likely to be in their comfort zone. In other words, how likely this race is to match their best performances. Terry, well, one stands out as the early speed in our Churchill Downs debut for 2024.
Yeah, that's that 8 horse that has the most. And as you said, the 8 out has got the best chance. And the 7 has an overlay. The only one I see there, 8 to 1 to 12 to 1. None of them, as you said, have any par plus numbers. And the 4 and the 8 have the most C-zone number.
Yes, especially that 4 Gather the Facts. Hello, Banks Sophia. How are you? I imagine that's backwards. Lovely indeed on this day. looking at trip handicapping, it's another thing that we do. A lot of folks look at horse races from different ways. We want to look at it from every angle. So in the pace handicapping over here on the left, we plot out where the horses want to be on the track. The E horses, pilots, 4-horse. EPs can pilot or co-pilot. Ps are predominantly co-pilots. They don't want to pilot. PCs, they're the most versatile horses. They can literally be anywhere on the track, front, middle, back. These are your closers. We have a couple of other designations here. The NCs are horses that have not been within 5 lengths of the winner at the finish line and up to their last 10 races. And of course, you got a pair of first timers. Just looking at this, Terry, if the 4 can get the lead, it is a loney. We've seen so many of those lonies get to the front, even at high odds, and win. But it does look like the 4 is going to have to do some work to get up there, Terry. That NC one, West Coast Harbor, is the quickest out of the gates. Ladle, Chiquita Reina, not too far behind. At the end of this race, Terry, Ayuka Miss, maybe I got that right, and Chiquita Reina, those two, along with Gather the Facts, have the most late speed. Put them together, and we're looking at our top total pace horses. Terry, again, from our analysis, record keeping, we find that over 70% of the time, again, my English teacher about to smack me across the knuckles with a ruler, more than 70% of the time, the winner comes from those top 4 in there. Terry, notwithstanding the 2 first-time starters, get us going. Who's going to win this first one?
Well, I like that 3-horse. Luca Miss. She has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 33% of the races when he drops a horse down 2+ classes, and they added Lasix today. And then the number 1, Chiquita Reina. She's my second choice, drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer, and jockey Malin. The 7 is my third choice, drops in class today, can improve while returning to a sprint, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And then the 8, West Coast Harbor, is my long shot, and she drops in class today. You know, our normal bets each race is $2 to win on our first choice, a $1 exact on our first 2 choices, a 50-cent trifecta on our first 3 choices, and a 10-cent superfecta on our first 4 choices.
Yes, indeed. That's how we keep track, Terry and I. I got the 3-1 to get started too. So I guess we think alike on the first race. Ayuka Miss, I guess that's how you're going to call that. It's the only maiden special weight dropper in the field, as we know. We've heard 1,000 times. It's the biggest drop in all of horse racing. Going to catch first-time Lasix. Again, folks, this is something to pay attention to when you're doing your handicapping. 2-year-olds are not allowed to have Lasix, right? The 3-year-olds are. So you can see this horse last ran at a 2-year-old because it's 3 now. It's going to get Lasix for the first time. So the maiden special weight drop off the first Lasix, maybe a powerful enough combination to win. If not, Chiquita Reina came the closest to all of these horses to hitting par for this group just a couple of races ago. If Chiquita Reina can repeat that win, she goes straight to the winner's circle. I'm going to go with the first-time starter next in here, Terry. Something we all should be against, and from what I understand, the Federal Reserve is working on. But digital currency. It's the best of the first-time starters, and it checks 2 of the 3 boxes I'm looking for. And quite frankly, after that one, not a whole lot to beat in here. And West Coast Harbor, going to be on the front, going to drop in class, work between races to have more stamina late, Terry. All right, let's move off to the second race. A lot of races to cover today, 12, Terry, a dozen. So let's try to make our way through this card in some kind of orderly fashion.
Yep, it's a 1/16. It's a maiden claiming $20,000 claiming race, and it's $42,000 purse for maidens, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and upward.
And then looking at the 1/16 on the main course, Terry, what we're looking for are horses that have tactical speed. About a third of them actually go wire to wire. So maybe this is one of the places where speed is the most dominant. The rail is fair. 2 and 3 get discount. 4 through 7 a bonus. 8 and out is a deal killer. I'm not a deal killer. It's the worst, but not a deal killer. And maybe that speed matters because that turn, as you see right here, comes pretty quickly. So get to that turn, have a good shot. Terry, who's going to get to the turn first?
Well, several of them show some speed, but that I think you need to change the race here. There you go.
There we go. That's number 2.
Yeah. Okay, but the 1 and the 2 show the most speed. And then the 3 has an overlay from 2.5 to 1 to 8 to 1. The 8 has an overlay from about 2.5 to 1 to 4 to 1. And the 9 has an overlay from 3 to 1 to 8 to 1. 3, 9, and 6 have par plus numbers, and all but the 9 show pretty decent C zones.
And again, par plus, because we didn't see it in the first race. Valerie Blue, the 3-horse, along with the Territoriality, whatever, and Pittore d'Oro. Yes, the wonderful, easily names to pronounce. All of those have shown the ability to get above a speed figure of 74. Our pace handicapping or trip handicapping, again, we see 2 horses here, the 2 and the 5, that have not been within 5 lengths of the leader. So maybe you can X those out in your past performances. Otherwise, most of these horses want to be middle or back. The bias is for front runners in this case. So perhaps the 1 or the 2. The 2, maybe not the 2. The 6, Territorial, those 3 should be forwardly placed. The end of the race, the Noble Bernadette, that's easy enough to pronounce. Pittore d'Oro, that one as well. Valerie Blue, those 3 should be coming the hardest at the end. And our top total pace horses, again, we have 4 of them. The 8, the 1, the 9, and the 2 that are 6 points clear, or each 5 points equals 1 length. So those 4 should finish more than a length ahead of the rest of them. Terry, how do you stack them up?
Well, I like that 4-horse, K.A. Thea. She drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 20% of the races when taking a horse from a maiden to a maiden claiming race. Her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, and blinkers are added to keep her mind on business. And then number 7, Fasta La Vista Baby.
You got to say it like Arnold, man. If you're going to do it.
Fasta La Vista Baby.
There you go. Fasta. It's not a chopper or a tumor. But anyway, go ahead.
That's all right. Anyway, she ran second versus similar to the last race, and her best dirt speed is fastest than the average winning speed. And then Noble Bernadette, the 8th, my first or third choice. She finished third versus Tupper on an all-weather track. Drops in class today. She has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 17% of the races in the second race after claiming a horse. And then number 9 is my long shot. She ran second versus similar to her last race, has the highest last speed rating. And then I'm going to play 50 Cent Miami Vice Don Johnson pick 4. I'm going to use the 4, 7, 8, 9 with the 1, 4, 8, 12 with the 3, 6 and finish up with the 2, 4, 9, $48 ticket.
Oof. Well, it looks like we got some agreement on this one, Terry. Just maybe a little bit different order. Noble Bernadette gets the top call for me in this one. Terry should sit right off the pace in this race and then explode by the horses with her late speed at the end. If not, my favorite one, Pittore d'Oro. That's probably how they pronounce it. A little bit of a rhyme in there. Last time out, just missed at this level. Did run a peak speed number. I'm a little bit worried about regression. We'll see if Pittore d'Oro can pair them up. Number 1, more happy hours. That's every alcoholic's favorite saying right there, Terry. Did hold its speed longer last time out. The little bit better fractions, I like to see that. Does have a nice 3 furlong workout in between races to keep that saw sharp and making the classic third start after a layoff. And then finally, Cantathea, I don't know. Maiden special weight dropper with the most back class in the field. Also, trio of workouts between starts should be fit, Terry. I felt like these 4 races, a lot of combinations could come through. So I just went 3 by 3 by 3 by 3 all the way through, hoping that one of my top 3 picks wins. But I'm going to say in race number 2, the way things usually work, the 4-horse is probably a single, folks. My last pick and Terry's first one. If you haven't done so already and you're following us on Twitter, kindly retweet the show so other folks can see what we do, especially tomorrow. I mean, a lot of people are going to be interested in the Kentucky Derby. I think 37 million people watch it on TV. We provide content and data that you can't honestly get anywhere else because we self-created it. And stuff like the par plus and the C zone and all the simulations and all of the things, the total pace that we do. It can help people maybe find some better picks for the Derby, or maybe eliminate or think about horses that they weren't going to add before, and maybe make their Derby parties a bit more fun. So follow us on our social sites, tell your friends about us, and let's move off to race number 3, provided we have the time, Terry.
Yeah, I think, what do we have? A couple of minutes?
We don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're moving towards the gates in the first race. So let's go back to race number 1, Terry, and just quickly review our picks. We both have the 3 and the 1, and right now the 1 horse, Chiquita Reina, is your 5-2 favorite, tied with Iuka Miss. And Chiquita Reina about to go in to the gate to get us started. The 7 horse. And Malin, Terry, you're a 12-1 shot in there in the morning line. 8. That one's down to 3-1, so that one's taking some play. I don't have that one at all in my picks. The 8 horse, West Coast Harbor, right in there as well at 7-1. That's the next favorite, it looks like. You have the 8 horse as 7-1, yes. Next up on your 4 horses, 13-1, Terry, and my 11 horses, 13-1. So let's see how they play.
All right.
Opener.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I've been doing so much horse racing handicapping. I'm looking forward to Saturday, where it's funny, after all the handicapping and all that stuff, it's like eating at McDonald's if you work there, I suppose. So if you bet the 5 horse right now, painting your way, you're probably not the happiest with where it's at. It broke slowly. The 6 horse right now, Ladle, is the one that did break the sharpest, but right to its outside is West Coast Harbor. The 1 horse, the co-favorite, sitting down there on the rail, trying to save a little bit of ground. To its outside is the 10 horse, Miss I Spite. And the 11, my first-time starter, Digital Currency, right in that mix. And then the 3 horse down on the rail. That one looks like it's called it a day already, Terry, but we'll see if that is indeed the case. Right now, as they go through the turn after opening quarter of 21 and 93. So they're going a little bit fast. That could open up the door for the 3 horse to make a comeback in here. The 8 horse is just striding out to the front there, Terry. Right now, it looks like it could be your winner. On the rail, right behind it, you have the 1 horse. That one's trying to make its way forward. Here comes the 3 right now, Terry.
All right.
3 is in the mix. I don't think he's going to get up there, though. It's going to go 8. It's going to go 8, 1, 3, and then I don't know who's going to finish in 4th. It's going to be a close one. But that 8 horse got to the lead, kept the lead, and just smoked on by. I think it's going to go 8. I don't know, 8, 3, 1, 11, I think. I think that's how it went. I'm not 100% sure, folks, but if it did, that would be the superfecta for me to get started. And one thing I noticed about that, though, Terry, and when we had Matt Carruthers on a long, long time ago in our horse racing podcast that we used to do on Thursdays, I don't remember the name of it anymore. Do you remember the name of it, Terry?
Oh, no, not really. It's been so long.
But anyhow, you can find them all on our YouTube site. Remember, Matt said that for these weekends where they're going to have these big races, they really soup up the track. That 8 horse for maiden claiming, what is it? Maiden claiming 10 went out in under 22 and stayed on the lead. I mean, that's fast, folks. So I'm going to guess that you'll see a speed bias throughout the day today, and perhaps through the weekend, rain notwithstanding at Churchill. Keep that in mind. All right. Off to race number 3 we go. In, again, a dozen race card. This one, Terry, is just up for grabs.
It sure is. It's a short 4.5 furlongs. Maidens, $120,000 purse for maidens, fillies, 2-year-old.
Hi there, you two. Good to be tuning in here today. We haven't seen you in a while, Julie. So looking forward to maybe saying hi one day at what is it now? Hawthorne. Yes, indeed, Hawthorne. Got to get together over there as the crew and do a live show. The folks over at Hawthorne, if you're ever in the Chicagoland area, Dakota and team over there, they do a wonderful job entertaining and hosting folks. So if you're going to go over there, let me know. Maybe I can meet you over there. We can catch up with the team at Hawthorne and maybe get some exclusive access to like the start and finish line, which is kind of off to the side now while they do construction, or go down into the paddock, maybe go to the backside. Let me know. All right, 4.5 furlongs, Terry. You're talking about speed usually doing all right. 31% of the time they go wire to wire. A little bit of a rail discount for Miss Ellie, the best place so far, 2-3, 4 through 7, a small discount. 8 and out is a small bonus. Most of these horses today, Terry, are making their first, maybe a few making their second start. So simulations are meaningless, as is trip handicapping. You can see here how many of them are making their first time starts. The 3 and a 5, when they ran, didn't run so well. So perhaps this race is open to a first-time starter, just straight up first-time handicapping. Terry, take us through your picks.
I like the 12. Priceness. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, she's a first-time
Preciseness, maybe?
Preciseness. Preciseness. All right. She's a first-time starter whose dam has 3 winners from 5 starters, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 8's my second choice, also a first-time starter whose dam has 1 winner from 1 starter, but that winner was a stakes winner, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Minty, the 4 is another first-time starter whose dam has 5 winners from 6 starters, and one of them was a stakes winner, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Miss Ellie, the 1 is my long shot. She's a first-time starter whose sire has 100% of the races, has won 100% of the races with first-time starters, and dam has 3 winners from 4 starters, has a high percentage winning jockey. No other bets for me other than our normal ones in here.
All right, so I did go 8, 1, 3, 11. If you played that 10-cent superfecta, kind of surprising, but not really with the 1 and 3 running in the middle, but still paid $36.30. Trifecta 8, 1, 3 paid $26.52, and the 8, 1 exacta $29.38. So that's the way we start an opener there. Terry, for me in this race, I just ranked them in order of the way I like the. I go through three check marks, and I have to. I didn't learn this on my own. James Quinn talked about this, and you can see I mark over here 2 out of 3 for these first time starters, 1 out of 3. Look at this, but what I'm looking for are trainers that win at 11% or more on first time starters. You got that. You talk a little bit about in your handicapping the breeding. So you want something that has good breeding. That's check mark number 2. And then I'm looking for those fractions where you take the number of furlongs, 4, multiply it by 12, right, equals 48. So if it has some workouts that satisfy that rule, so 48 or under, that would be check mark number 3. They go 3 for 3 on the check mark box, folks. They make it into my picks for first-time starters. And then I just rank them in order. So my order for this race, Terry, is I like the 13, then the 12, then the 7, and the 8. Doesn't go any better or deeper than that, my friend.
Nope.
All right. So let's go off to the next race. I think in that one there, Terry, I mean, I think from knowing you, given the opportunity, you would all that race.
I would, yes.
But I don't give Terry that budget because I know if I said your budget is unlimited, he'd come in and go all on his pick 4s and then come on the next day and say, I won my pick 4. Of course, I just kid. All right. Race number 4, Terry, is a little probably less confusing. What other conditions?
It's a 6.5 furlong race. It's an optional claiming race, $100,000 claiming price. If you elect to put your horse in there to possibly be claimed, the purse $141,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won, $18,000 3 times other than maiden, claiming, starter, restricted, or state bred, or which have never won 4 races, or claiming price of $100,000.
And at 6.5 furlongs, our profile of a winner in the limited races so far, again, with tactical speed's the way to go. And then 15% of the time, so not that many go wire to wire. There is a big rail bonus for Kavad. And then 2 and 3 play fair. 4 and out, they're about 20% below par in terms of their performance. And interestingly over here, Terry, you see that you have this 100 par speed figure. For a lot of races tomorrow and Saturday, even like notwithstanding like the Derby or the Oaks, the par numbers are actually lower than that. So this race could have been on the Friday or Saturday card, Terry. Looking at the early speed in this race, Terry, where is it going to be found?
Well, all of them show some speed, so it's really anybody's guess because there's 2 or 3 of them that are really close. But the 1 has the overlay of about 8-5 to 10 to 1, which is really nice. It's the only overlay I see, and the 6 has the only par plus number. All of them show some kind of a C-zone numbers, especially that first 3.
Yeah, they got a horse right here. Maybe this one should have been running tomorrow or Saturday with that 22% chance to pop a speed number into the triple-digit range. Trip handicapping shows us a lot of versatility. The 5 and the 6, they can pilot or co-pilot. The 1 wants to be a co-pilot, so maybe sits right off these 2, lets one of them go to the lead. 2, 3, and 4, they're PC type. So if those 3 go too fast, they can be patient. If they go too slow, they can say, hey, we're going to pick up the pace here. When the gates open and the dirt flies, Kavad on the rail looks like it's a little bit quicker than Close the Game Sugar. But you notice here, all of them, except for maybe Scotland, all within 4 points of each other. That's just 3/4 of a length. So if a misstep, a bump, get forced wide might be the difference between being first or fifth. Late Speed definitely belongs to Angkor. 6 points better than Close the Game Sugar. That's about a length and maybe a head quicker down the stretch. Going to be right off the pace right there, Terry, too. So that means that 6 horse probably sits behind the front runners, waits till they come out of the turn, turns on the Jets, has a 4-point total pace advantage over the 4 and the 1. So maybe take the 6, put it on top of the 4 and 1 for a cheap exacta in trifecta. Is that what you did?
I used the 6 as my top pick. Yeah, Angkor. He finished in the money in his last 6 starts, and he won 2 of those. Has a high percentage winning jockey. Very competitive horse. The 3 Scotland, which pretty low in our data, is my second choice though. But he drops in class, should improve at the shorter distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. Then Close the Game Sugar is my fourth. Close to the Game Sugar is my fourth. Or number 4 is my third pick. Won his last race. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey and a good workout on April 21st. Kavad, the 1 is my long shot. He's finished in the money in 3 out of the last 4 races. He won 1 of the races, drops in class today. The Rail Post win at 21% clip, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer, so he marks a lot of boxes off. No additional bets for me.
Yeah, because we do $2 to win on our top pick. We do a $1 exacta box with our top 2. 50-cent try with our top 3, and then a 10-cent superfecta box with our top 4. It works out to $8.40, I think, for all the bets, right? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And so we've used our $100 budget. Can't do any additional bets. So.
Did we go over our $100 budget?
By 80 cents.
I'm surprised you didn't tell me I have to take 80 cents off somewhere.
Now,
I like the 6 horse too. That one, Angkor. This one's been off since November. The solid workout pattern, and they're fast, so should be ready to get back to work. Close the Game Sugar, the 4 horse, another that's coming back from an extended break in here, long rest, does have strong workouts as well, and the first up record is pretty solid. I really thought about putting this one on top of the 6 because it seemed to me it does a little bit better running fresh. Scotland, the 3 horse in there, that is your morning line favorite at 7-5. Coming out of a pair of Group 1 efforts, been off a long time too. The works are good, but I feel like the odds, at least initially, are too low in an open race. And then finally, number 1, Kavad is another one of those horses that's dropping in class. It is our simulation favorite. How about that, Terry? Mm-hmm. Hit par for this level, so it did pop a number above a hundo 2 races back. And if it can find that form, well, guess what? It can find the winner's circle maybe at a good price. 2. All right, let's see what we got here. Julie Mumford hopped over to YouTube. Thank you. While you're here, Julie, hit the subscribe button, but I know you have already. Want to say thank you to all the love we're getting on Facebook today from Julie K. Mumford and Banks Sophia, along with David Cassidy, Yasmin Belina, Yazanita forgive me, I can't see, Jimmy Javier Romero, Philip Perkins, and David Thorpe. If like them, you like what you see, we appreciate the thumbs up. Just from a humanity standpoint, I guess, we do appreciate that, the interaction, the feedback, but also the Google algorithms, the YouTube algorithms, they appreciate the thumbs up too. And the more of them interactivity we get, be it comments. So if you like anything at Churchill or any track running today, please let us know in the comment section. And of course, we appreciate any interactivity because it helps us with the search engine optimization. Terry, we're going to go to race 5 now.
That's right.
And you know what else helps us with the search engine optimization is making some winning picks so people keep coming back.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, this one's a mile and 16th, and it's the first turf race. It's a maiden $120,000 purse. It's for maidens 3-year-olds and upward.
And at a mile and a 16th on the grass, you might want to enjoy these, though. I would imagine, though, on Friday and Saturday, as long as it's not pouring rain, they'll probably try to keep them on the turf as much as possible. Maybe not the if there's like a something other than a stakes race, they'll probably move those off the turf. But the big ones, as long as the track is safe, they probably stay on the grass. But a mile and a 16th on the turf, at least when it's fast. Today closers, They do the best. Only one of the 11 races in the last meet went wire to wire. None of them did it from the rail. So Lucchesi might run worse than 12-1 odds. 2 and 3 somehow get a bonus despite the one stinking. 4 through 7, a little bit of a discount. 8 and now just a touch better than par. So a little bit of an accordion action there, Terry. Speed doesn't matter, but if it did matter in race number 5, who would win?
Well, you see there's lots of speed in there, several of them. But the one has the best speed, followed by the 4. So it's, who knows going to get that quarter pole first. And then the 4 shows an overlay from almost 2-1 to 4-1. And that's about the only overlay that I see there.
Small one with the 7, yeah. Tiny.
Yeah, but it's not much. It's like 5.5 to 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4 has the only par plus number. All but the 1, 7, and 10 show some kind of C zones.
They're all kind of weak sauce right here because only Spoonie goes above that 50% mark. And that's really what we're looking for. Better than 50% chance that they'll get a trip that fits into their comfort zone when they've performed their best. Big open race here, Terry. Got the 2 and the 9 giving it a go for the first time. The 4 and 12, well, they want to be on the front. 3, 5, and 11 close. Everybody else, man, they've kind of struggled to be within shouting distance of the winner when the race is over. At the beginning, the 1 horse, Lucchesi, just like we saw in the simulations, along with the 4 horse, Rocky Joe, they should be on the front. They'll have plenty of them on their tail, Terry, as we saw also a bunch of other horses with a shot to be forwardly placed. Brilliant Bertie, the NC type, does have the most late speed, Terry, and that's 12 points. So that's approximately almost 3 lengths that horse can make up at the end there. And really looking at these early pace figures, that's not going to be 3 lengths off the leaders. That one could have a good shot to maybe sit mid of the pack. It could come out of that turn with a clean trip, run right by everybody at the end. It does grade out as our top total pace horse, 8 points clear. So according to this, Brilliant Birdie should be your winner. And then you have the 1, 3, and 4, a big gap down from there. So put those 4 in the box, Terry, and wrap it up. Then perhaps you have a winner.
It could be, but I like Rocky Joy. The 4 is my first choice. He ran second versus in his last race on the turf. Has the highest last speed rating. His breeding suggests that he would like the turf. And then number 2, Modern Day Warrior is my second choice. He's a first-time starter whose breeding suggests he will like the grass, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. Thermoscope, the 9 is a first-time starter whose breeding suggests he will like the grass, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. The 3, Heart of Oscar, ran second. Yeah. He ran second his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. He's my long shot.
Mm-hmm. So you have Don Johnson pick 4 here too?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I do. And it's the 2, 3, 4, 9 with the 4, 6, 7 with the 2, 8 with the 1, 8, 9, which is a $48 ticket.
And the reason we call it Don Johnson and the way we set up our screen and a bunch of other things come as suggestions from folks who watch. So if there's anything that you see, I mean, they were 2 minds, 3 minds, hundreds of minds brainstorming are better than 1 or 2. If there's something that you think could improve the show, kindly let us know in the comments section, or you can follow me over at HRT Rich on Twitter. Let me know there, DM me, or shoot me a tweet, or tweet at me, or X at me, whatever they call it now. And or you can email me at gtsrichb@gmail.com. Let us know if there's anything you feel like would improve the show. I like the 4 horse too, Rocky Joy, Terry. It is the only par plus horse in the field. Last time out, it ran a speed figure 6 points clear of the next closest horse. If you pick up an Andrew Beyer, the godfather of speed figure books, he'll tell you that one of the things he looks for are horses with a 3-point or more advantage. Does satisfy that. It is another horse that was better across the board. So all of its race internals, when you look at the past performances, were better. You'll see here we're at 92, 95, 85 versus 85, 85, 74. So all the race internals improved last time out, usually a sign of a horse coming into form. I also like that 7 horse, Brilliant Birdie. That's our top total pace horse there, Terry, about 6 points clear of anybody else. Was decently bet in its debut, and horses tend to make the biggest jump forward in their second career starts. Typical second career start move for Brilliant Birdie, and that one's in your winner's circle. Thermoscope, the 9 horse. First timer that checks off all those 3 boxes we talked about a race ago. And then finally, Tap It for the win, the 10 horse, Terry, my final pick in here. Well bet in its debut. And it looks like the lights maybe clicked on for that horse because the last 2 workouts were bullets. Let's see if it can take that to the track. I'm going to do a pick 4. Like you, I think this opening race is wide open. 4 horses. I'm going to go 2 in the next leg and then 3, and then close it out with 4 for a $48 ticket, just $2 under our maximum $50. Oof, I feel like we've done a whole card already. How about you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Race number 6. We're only halfway, brother. So I'm gonna need a secrets or something like that by the time we hit the end for the.
Well, we won't be halfway until we finish this one. But anyway, it's 7.5 furlongs. It's an allowance race, $127,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won a race other than a maiden claim and starter, or which have never won 2 races.
Yeah, they're a really odd distance, 7.5 furlongs, right? I mean, it's the ultimate tweener race.
Yep.
And that's 7.5 furlongs. They've done it 5 times in the last meet. None of the winners came from the rail. None of the winners went wire to wire. They all kind of were middle forward, but didn't pull the cart. So you had 3 of the 5 winners come from post 2 or 3. The rest of them came from post 4 through 7, but only a 5-horse race sample in there. So really unreliable data in that respect. Maybe it can give you a clue, but I wouldn't be totally reliant on it. We do have a lone speed horse in here, the 1 horse. The other 3 here want to pressure. 2 and 4 want to close. So everybody might get to where they want to be, although the 1 horse doesn't look like it has the speed to get to that loney. We have seen this many times before, though. If Shopper's Revenge does get out to the lead, folks, even without late speed, look out, especially since it has some of the most late speed in there. Our top total pace horse in here, Terry, is another one that stands out above the rest. Castle Warden, 8 points, so almost 2 lengths better than this crew down in here. 6 horse, Terry, from a total pace perspective, is your winner. And do we either one of us have him in there? We do. Just kind of mixed them up a bit.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about this data here. So let me say that the 3 has a lot more speed than anybody. Should get to that quarter pole first. The 4 has an overlay from about 8.5 to 7-2. The 7 has a small par plus number, and all but the 3 have C zones. And so now let me go on to my race.
Yes, now you can make your picks because I just tossed us way out of order.
That's right. 7 Classic Legacy is my first choice, finished in the money in 7 out of the last 8 races. Won one of those races, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. And then Castle Warden, the 6, my second choice. He won his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Under Hill's Tab, the 4 is my third pick. Finished third versus Simmer in his last race. His best dirt speed is fastest among these starters. The 1 Shopper's Revenge, he was my long shot. He finished third versus Simmer in his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. So there you go.
I like the 6 horse, that top total pace horse by 8 points, Terry? That's usually a big enough number to make the horse very competitive. And on top of that, probably has the most room in this race for improvement. Has an April 6th workout real fast that says he might be sitting on a big race here, or maybe he left everything on the practice track. Classic Legacy, in the last race I talked about a 6-point total pace, speed figure advantage. Well, that one ran a speed figure 12 points better than everybody else last time out. And this one usually pairs hot numbers. So when you go through the past performances, kind of want to see if a horse does pops a speed figure, what is done in the past the next race. Because a lot of times the horses will regress if they jump out of order. Some will pair them. This one pairs them. Number 4, Underhill's Tab is my third choice. It is our simulation choice in here. Last time out, ran fast to early fractions along with improved 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers. Again, indications of a horse coming into form for the Classic. Third start after a layoff. And then something I'm glad it's not anymore, and it's cold as hell, Terry. It's finally starting to warm up around here. And maybe that one, with all of that heat that it brings early on, it might be too fast for everybody else, or maybe for the entire field if that early speed that we saw in that first race holds up. And real quick, I want to mention something, Terry. Our good friend Charles, who went to go find greener pastures at Past the Wire. I noticed yesterday he sent me a link to a show that he did over on Past the Wire on their YouTube channel, previewing, I think, the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. I saw some of it. So if you have a chance to, go on over there and support our good friend Charles. We're glad that he's still bringing his wisdom. And last year, I think he was the only one to pick Mage of our group. So I would be interested in his insights as well as to what he's seen on the workouts.
That's right.
So this just goes to show you we're not bitter old men. Just old men. All right.
Right.
All right. So we are halfway through the card now, Terry.
Yes, we are. So let's go on with this seventh race. It's 6 furlongs. It's $50,000 claiming race. $66,000 purse for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races.
And at 6 furlongs, you're looking for horses with tactical speed. A bunch, 27% go wire to wire. A little bit of a rail discount for In Color. 2-3 get discounted too. So those inside 3 really not the best place to be. 4 through 7, they play close to fair. Really the best place to be is 8 and out. So if you're on the outside, you're a Buffalo girl in race number 7 with some outside speed, Terry, you got a good shot. But again, in one of these races where everybody's got some chance to be on the front.
Yeah. Several of them show speed, but the 5 shows the most speed. And so then 2 has an overlay from 8 to 5 to 9 to 2, and the 3 has an overlay from 8 to 1 to 20 to 1, which is a really nice overlay. 5 has a small overlay from 5.5 to 1 to 6 to 1. And then the 2 and the 5 show the only par plus numbers. All of them show some kind of C zones, and most of them are really good.
Yeah, you got 5 of the 8 horses in here are dark green tied C zones. So it should be a race that everybody's pretty comfortable with. It is really heavily slanted, though, towards front runners in here, Terry. You see 4 of the 8 want to be on the lead. 3 want to pressure. That could make for a hot pace, especially since we saw so many of them that are in the same striking zone with each other. You only have a 7-point difference between worst and first in that early speed. This should really set up for a horse that has some late legs. In this case, Chesina, the speed horse, has the most late speed, going to be involved early on, too. It's a Bling Thing and Generous Lover going to be right there, too. Our top total pace horses, we have 3 green ones, the 2, the 3, and the 8s. They're a touch quicker in total pace than the rest of them in here. So, again, you're looking for some 3 horses, inexpensive exacta trifecta tickets. Those might be the 3. We both start with the same one on top, and then we go a little bit different from there.
Well, I like the 8 Generous Lover. She can improve while returning to dirt. She has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 22% of the claiming races he has a horse in and has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and her best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, actually tied with another horse. Then I like Chasia.
Shanisa.
Whatever. She's number 2, and she's my second choice. She finished in the money in 6 out of 11 last 7 races, and won one of those races, finishing 3rd in her last race. Sassy Walker's the 6th, my 3rd choice, drops in class today. Has a trainer who wins 20% of the claiming races he has a horse running in. And then the long shot is In Color, the 1, finished 3rd in her last race and has the highest last speed rating. All righty,
then I'm going to go with Generous Lover, too, Terry. That one, Terry, is the horse that ran better fractions last time out and better early pace. That's a combination I love to see. Again, horses that are usually on the upswing. We learned that from Craig Milkowski from Timeform US when they go through their data. They found when the early pace picks up, that usually means the next race is going to be a good one. And this one should run a good one, too, because it's the biggest class dropper in the field. Number 4, Neutralize, the second call for me. Maybe a horse for the course. We'll see. It won its debut at Churchill Downs, and then they took the track, the horse like Fairgrounds and other places. They've brought it back to Churchill Downs, and in that debut, it ran its best speed figure by about 7-8 points over anything else it's done. And then when you look at the workouts at Churchill again, the horse is flying across the track, so maybe a horse for the course. Number 2, Chanisa, I think that's what we settle on, is our simulation favorite. Another class dropper, our biggest par plus horse in the field, and one that does top out on that total pace score. And then finally, like you, I settled on the 1 horse for my 4th pick, In Color. One of those horses where all the race internals were better from the beginning to the end. We have a 3 speed figure increases in a row. And Barry Meadows, through all of his research, says when that happens, those horses win at 15% or more. We call that an alpha angle. The only thing for me about the one horse, though, Terry, and I wanted to rank it a little bit higher, but it's kind of struggled at Churchill Downs. 3 times out, no wins, no seconds, no thirds. So maybe an anti-horse for the course. And I put a lot of emphasis on how horses perform at Churchill. We talked about Matt Carruthers being on our podcast, but we also had on Mike Smith, Hall of Fame jockey, Kentucky Derby winner. And he had mentioned that when you're looking for Kentucky Derby or Churchill Downs winners, one of the things you want to pay attention to is how they train at the Churchill Downs track. He said, and I remember he called the surface peanut buttery. And he said, how they train there is how they run there. And if you remember Rich Strike, the one that won at 80-1, horse ran really well at Churchill. They took the horse off elsewhere, ran like garbage everywhere else, trained well leading up to the Kentucky Derby, again at Churchill. And when they ran the race, what did he do? He won. And my namesake, and guess what I didn't do?
You didn't play it.
No, I didn't play him.
Even though Swiss Army John sent you a text saying, "Are you going to play it?" Yeah.
Yes, and it's like the universe talking to you, right? Hey, stupid, we want you to bet this, but you got to decipher it a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if they put it on a billboard, hey, Rich, bet Rich, and then you'd be all right. Or bet on yourself, like some kind of one of those like a little like positive saying things that you'll see hanging up in most offices around the country. You like the 5 horse in race number 5, Christopher D'Souza?
That's race.
Oh, no, race number 7. Yes.
Yeah.
5. Like 5.
Yeah. Good morning, Christopher.
Neither one of us has those 5 horse, Terry.
No, we don't. So
yes,
you might want to pay attention to Christopher. He's pretty good handicapper.
Yes, indeed. Especially when he's going head to head with Terry.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that is handicapping and how much is I just want to beat Terry.
Yeah, probably a little bit of each.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So in race number 2, I did joke that the 4 horse is the one to single because, well, that's the one I left out of my pick 4. And it's always the next horse that beats me in my pick 4s. And Terry has it at the top of his picks, as do the bettors across the world. They got Canathia as your favorite at 2-1. Next up is the 8 horse at 5-2. That 9 horse, the PT Oro, that's the one we both want to win, Terry. That guy's 16-1. Big overlay right in there. And then the 1 horse is More Happy Hours. That one is 5-1. So they're off and running in race number 2. Right now, you have the 2 horse, American Maestra, up on the lead. Looks like you have the 1 horse down on the rail. Outside the 2 horse, you have the 6 Territorially. Those 2 are pressing the pace early on. Looks like they might be going a little on the quick side. The 4 horse is probably around 3 lengths off, probably pretty well positioned if the fractions are fast. The 8 horse, Noble Bernadette, it's got a nice stalking position right out soft. The 2 horse, the 1 horse is jockey right now. More Happy Hours really trying to hold that horse. That horse wants to go. He's like pulling on the reins there. So he's trying to keep that horse in check so he has a little bit of late energy at the end of the race. They went through the opening quarter, 23 and 3/5 seconds, so a little bit on the quickish side perhaps for this level, but we did see those fast fractions hold up in the opening race. Got a whole horde of horses, Terry, that got a chance to win this one. Looks like about 8 of them that are like from nose to tail 2 lengths apart. There's 1 horse, the 3 horse, has just decided it wants to do what it wants to do. It's run up through traffic there and decided to get in the mix. The 1 horse and the 4 horse are going to go wide. The 4 horse is going to have a real tough trip out there, 6 wide. That turn just cost that horse his chances to win. Looks like the 1 horse right now, Terry, is the one to beat. You do have, or is that the 8 horse? No, the 8 horse is the one to beat, although the 1 horse is coming up on the outside. You got somebody in the middle there, the 9 horse, the 7 horse. Oh, my God, the 7 horse. Is that the 7 is going to run by all of us, Terry?
Right.
Fasta. I shouldn't have made fun of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well,
because Fasta, La Vista, baby, got us.
It's my second pick, so that's good.
Good for you. Yes, indeed. That guy went off at 7-2.
Yep.
All right. So you're alive in your pick 4, and I am not. All of my other horses finished right behind him.
All right.
Here we go off to race number. What do we got? So how did that
Race
go?
number 8.
That went 7. I think 7, 8, 1, something like that.
7,
right.
8, 1.
Something like that. Yeah. Let's go off to race number 8, my friend.
All
what
right.
are we doing here?
Well, in race 8, we're going to go a mile and an eighth on the turf. It's an optional claiming race, $80,000 claiming price. Purse $134,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have not won 18,000 twice, other than maiden claiming starter or state bred, or which have not won 3 races or a claiming price of $80,000.
And at a mile and an eighth on the grass, closers again. None have gone wire to wire. None have won from the rail. Only one win from post 2 or 3. Most of your winners come from 4 and out. With the farther from the rail, the better. Again, speed probably not the best thing in here, Terry. So Sir London, it looks like it's out to the lead. They all try to chase him down. Is that what you see?
Yeah, there's many of them that have speed, but that 3 looks like it's got the most speed. And also the 1 is the only overlay I really see in here. It's about 6 or 7 to 5 to 4 to 1. The 1, 2, and 3 have the only par plus numbers, especially that 1. And then the C zone, all but the 5 and 6 show some kind of C zones.
And a bunch of dark green ones in here. Almost a green go horse if this guy had some up on the lead, but the 1 horse has a lot of pretty powerful numbers. Strong C zone, 59% chance to run a speed figure of 93 or more according to our 10,000 simulations. See if it has any kind of in-race ability here. Well, the 6 horse, Woodstock Fight, is a lone E. The 1 wants to pressure. Bunch of versatility here in closers. The track bias does favor closers, Terry, but if that 6 can get off to a easy lead, perhaps could go wire to wire, but it doesn't look like the case. We saw in the simulation that number belongs to Sir London. Looks like Sir London will pull the cart early on. As they come down the stretch, American Diamond has the most late speed, along with He's Got Swagger. A little bit of a drop off there for the 7 and the 4, and then a little bit of a drop off from there. Just kind of looking at these numbers, I'm going to guess that the top total pace tells a story of a very competitive race. Aside from American Diamond, that has a 6-point advantage over everybody else, got a big clump of horses in here, Terry. So it looks like it's the 2 and everybody else. You put the 2 at the back of your pick and everybody else in front of them. So tell us why.
Well, I like the 8, Miranda Wrights. He won his last race at Del Mar, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And I like the 1, Dipping Gold. He finished 3rd in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, can improve at the shorter distance, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. He's Got Swagger. The 9's my 3rd choice, finished 3rd in his last race, winning the prior race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer. Then I like 2, American Diamond. He won his last race and has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. That's my long shot.
And the race 2, now that they've gone through the photographs, it went 7. And then my next 3 picks, 1, 8, and 9. So if you, but there's an inquiry. Who are they inquiring against? Doesn't look like the 7 horse is the inquiry, though, because they moved them off into the winner's circle to take some photos. So probably somebody who finished 2nd or 3rd or 4th, banging off of each other that wants a little bit better paycheck. As far as my picks are concerned, Terry, you went through your picks or no?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So just want to make sure I'm in the right place. I have the 4 horse Risk Manager as my top selection. Risk Manager drops from a grade 2 race, making the 3rd start after a layoff. It's following the same exact 3 race pattern that it did last time out. So came off, ran a good race, kind of regressed a little bit in the 2nd race, and then pop in the 3rd race is what it did last time, posting its best speed figure ever. Let's see if it can repeat. Number 2, American Diamond. This one coming off the bench tends to run some of its best races, like today. 4 workouts prepping for this spot. Sir London, the 3rd horse. That's with all that speed in there, Terry. 3rd up, did show some better late speed last time out with a pair of maintenance workouts between. So maybe that one gets up to the front, Terry. Holds on at the end with a little bit of additional stamina. And then Dripping Gold, the 1 horse. This one might be absolutely the best horse in the field. The sim favorite, if he's ready, he could pounce this field, Terry. But his first record off the bench says that maybe they're targeting the next race. Looks like he runs better in the 2nd up than the 1st up. Race number 9, another one of those races, Terry, where I think everybody has one race, so our simulations and stuff don't really matter, but the conditions do.
Well, this is a 5 furlong race, and it's a purse of $250,000. It's Kentucky Juvenile Stakes race, and it's for 2-year-olds.
Yeah, and maybe some indication of horses you might see later on in the year running at the Breeders' Cup for those juvenile races, and maybe some of these will be competing for the Kentucky Derby next year. At 5 furlongs, Terry, so far they ran 2 races. They were both won wire to wire, both won from for an out position. Again, looking at our top total pace numbers in race number 9, you do see if you're looking for early speed, simulations don't matter with only one. There's no standard deviation or any of that kind of stuff. But Shoot It True, that one has got some real stakes level early speed in there, Terry. The 8-horse Turnbuckle, not within 5 lengths of the leader. The 2 and 4 want to close. 1, 5, 7, 9, maybe a little bit of versatility in their games. The race is won at the end. It looks like Akin Musair and Mensa. Those two have the most late speed. And then, you know what's funny about the word Mensa, Terry?
What's that?
Mensa also 7 points better than the 7-horse in their top total pace. So if you're part of the Mensa Society, it means you're smart, right?
Yeah.
But if Mensa, you call somebody Mensa in Spanish, it means like they're dumb.
Oh, boy.
Or like an idiot. So it's upside downward. All right, Terry, why is the 7-horse going to win this race?
Well, he did his debut race. He won it really easily by 7.5 lengths, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. And then Mensa, the 9, either smart or dumb, whoever knows. He won.
Well, if he wins, I'll look smart. If he loses, I'll look dumb. So I get both of them.
Anyway, he won his debut race and earned the highest last speed rating. And then his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, the 5 Jet Sweet Joe. He won his debut race at Kingland and has a high percentage winning trainer. And then the 2 is my long shot, finished 3rd in his last race. He has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 30% of the non-graded race stakes races. He has a horse competing in, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. And then that's it for me in that race. But I'm going to play another Don Johnson pick 4. It's a 7-9 with the 5, with the 4, 6, 9, 10, with all $32 ticket.
Well, if you get to the end, I know you'll be pulling for the 100-to-1 shot, or if there's something along those lines.
That's right.
I went with the 9-horse Mensa. I don't know if it was a smart or dumb pick, but I did so because when you look at the fractions in the final time, it won easily. So I don't think he put everything he had to into the race. And if you look at the fractions, had the fastest early fractions and had the fastest final time. So that holds true. Anyway, number 7, Shoot It True. That one's going to be blasting out of the gates. We saw with our pace that it's got a good shot to be on the lead, maybe too much early speed for the rest. So far, the 2 races that they've run at the distance were won wire to wire. Jet Sweep Joe, also a horse that was well bet in its debut, Terry. Another one with an easy win. And then finally, I'm going to go with the 6-horse West Memorial. Missed by just a head in its last race, its debut. Was well bet. So perhaps you'll see a better performance in the second career start again. This is where you expect the horses to make a huge move forward. And with these 2-year-olds, Terry, anything can happen. So the horse that looked the worst on the paper might end up being the best in the race today. I put all 4 of my picks into the pick 4, 2 in the next leg, and then 4, and then I'm closing it out with 3 in the final leg. They still have that inquiry sign up in there. I'm kind of curious who they're inquiring about.
I don't know.
I haven't seen a video on it yet. Have you?
Nope.
So I'm wondering who did what to whom. Maybe the English teacher could tell me if I got that right. All right. We got 3 races to go, 10, 11, and 12. Another stakes race, Terry.
Yeah, it's a 6 furlongs race. It's a overnight St. Matthews race, and it's first 200,000. It's for 4-year-olds and upward, which have not won a graded stakes race in 2023 or 2024.
We mentioned earlier the profile of a 6 furlong winner favors tactical speed a bunch, a little more than 1 out of 4 win on the front. A little bit of a rail discount for Necker Island. 2 and 3 are discounted as well. So once again, we see the inside 3, a little tougher trek than every other post position. 4 through 7, they're almost fair. Really, the best place again to be is on the outside with some speed in the St. Matthews overnight stakes. Terry, Who on the outside has some speed.
In this ninth race?
Mm-hmm. 10th race, right? 9th race?
Yeah, we're in the 10th, right?
Yeah. I put that up there.
There you go. Okay. I'm confused because it still says 9th down there. But anyway,
I got to change that. My bad.
That's all right. I should have changed it. Anyway, the 5 shows way more speed than anybody else. 2 has a small overlay from 10 to 1 to 12 to 1. And the 5 has an overlay from about 4 to 5 to even money. And then the 5 also shows the only par plus number. And then 5 shows the most C zone number.
There's your gringo horse. Green. Go to the winner's circle, right? That's what that usually means.
That's right.
Way off. It's going to mean that at 1-1, though. In race number 10, nobody really wants to be on the lead, Terry. Everybody kind of wants to be middle back. So this could be a pretty patient race. Could open the door to Bango, getting to the front there a little bit quicker than the 2, the 1, or the 6, but not a whole lot in there. Coming down the stretch as they make their way home, Bourbon Bash and then Maniwa. They're a little bit faster than everybody else, and Bourbon Bash should have the jump on Maniwa early on. Your top 2 total pace horses, a little bit better than everybody else, are Bourbon Bash and Bango. So Bango is going to be your like 1-1 or 3-5 favorite. So maybe the horse to really consider the best from a pace perspective is the 6, Terry.
That's right. Well, the 5 Bango is my bet of the day, even though it's going to be a pretty low price. But hey, if you can get even money, you're going to double your money. But anyway, he finished in the money in his last 10 starts, and he won 5 of those starts. Mm-hmm. And he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer, so he's very competitive, loves to win. Number 6, Bourbon, is my second choice, won his last race, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Obesos is the 7, is my third choice, likes the distance, has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. And then Maniwa, the 4, is my long shot. He ran second his last race. He has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. And he's got a bullet workout on April 25th. So a lot of boxes marked off for him.
The 5 horse, that's the one to beat. This might be the most logical winner on the card. It is the classiest horse in the field. The question is, he's going to come off the bench. Will he be rusty? Probably not. The last 3 times the horse came out from a little R&R, it ran right into the winner's circle. Maniwa, one of my favorite handicapping angles, is a bullet in the last workout and then go to the track. That's exactly what he did. It's coming out of a second place in a grade 3 race last time out. And maybe you're going to get some good odds on this one. And quite honestly, this is one of those horses that, like, I see it show up a lot and I don't bet it, and then he wins. So this time I said I'm not going to make that mistake. Necker Island, the one horse we talked earlier in the day about horses for the Churchill Downs course. I think this is one. His record says so anyway. He has 5 wins in 15 races. He's raced elsewhere 24 times and only has 3 wins. You're going to get a good price on that one. And then number 7, Obesos, was a tough call for me over the 6 horse, that other one that tied for the top total pace. The talent is there, Terry. Does have triple-digit speed numbers, but maybe not the biggest fan of Churchill Downs, where he has run 6 times with a win. So, he can get to the winner's circle. And a second, but all the other times off the board. But today, IRAD rides. And when IRAD rides, look out. So they finally did settle on that. No changes. 7. Well, no, they tossed the 3 out of 4th place there. So looks like they have a dead heat there, too, for 4th. So 7, 1, 8, 9, and 2 in that second race. Terry advancing with his pick 4, and mine just got slayed. So let's see if perhaps we can do the late daily double. Terry, race number 11.
Yes, let's go on to that race. It's a mile on the turf, and it's a $350,000 purse. So what is it called here?
It's called Lunch Money for Terry in the opening verse stakes.
All right. It's for 4-year-olds and upwards. Let's go.
Yeah, at 1 mile in the grass today, you're going to find that closers do good. None of the 8 races that were run last meet at a mile on the turf were won by any horse that got to the lead. No horses won from the inside 3. The best place to be is 4, 5, 6, or 7. 8 and out, you get a little bit of a bonus too. So again, Terry, don't be on the inside, be on the outside. You don't have to be fast, but looks again like it should be pretty competitive when the gates open.
That's right. You're going to have The 10, 11, and 9 show the most speed, although several of these have speed in here. And then the 2 has an overlay of 2-1 to 15-1. That's the only overlay I really see. Several of them have par plus numbers, and then all but the 7 has a good C zone.
We might regret not going to Churchtown, Terry. Big overlay there on the simulation, top par plus horse, decent C zone, so good chance to get a trip that it likes. Our race shape for the second to last race of the day, most of them want to be middle back, a little versatility with the 9 and the 11 here. I know front runners don't do well, but this could favor tactical speed. Looks like Stitched and Talk of the Nation, they'll be out to the front the earliest to come down the stretch. Harlan Estate, along with Skyro, they're a bit quicker than everybody else, though, with these early pace figures, though maybe not close enough early on to take advantage of that edge. Of the top total pace horses in here, look, another very competitive race, Terry, all the way down to here, only an 8-point difference between the 5 and the 9. So a wide trip, getting bumped, getting boxed, could be the difference between finishing. What is there, 10 horses in this race, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
There's 3, 5, 10 horses. Could be the difference between first or ninth. Wide open affair here, Terry. You might have gone all on this one.
Yeah, you might have, yeah. Anyway, the 9 Carl Spackler is my first choice. Won 2 races in a row, going for a hat trick. Has the highest speed figure at today's distance, and his best start speed is fast among today's starters. And then Talk of the Nation, the 10, is my second choice. Ran second in his last race. He has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey, and his bullet workout on the 25th of April. Smokin' Tea is the 4th, my third choice. Won 2 of his last 3 races, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Ice Chocolate, the 6th, is my long shot. Finished 7th in his last race after having trouble as a favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer, wins 20% of the races when bringing a beaten favorite back to race again, and he has a high percentage winning jockey.
I start with the 10, Talk of the Nation. I know the 9 horse is going to be the favorite in here, but Talk of the Nation has some great works prepping for the first race after moving into the Todd Pletcher barn. So you know he's going to get top-notch training in there. And the horse does have a good first up off the bench record. Carl Spackler, the 9 horse, your likely favorite in here, certainly has the class. But the only time that this horse in, I think, 5 race career had a bad race was when he came off the bench following an extended break. It's the only time he's done it. I think he finished like 8th. So maybe this one might have a little bit of rust and give us an opportunity to find some better odds elsewhere. Smokin' Tea, the 4 horse. Third up, it's CV, says it should look like the last race where he beat a lot of the other horses in this race. And then finally, I'm going to go with a little bit of a price for my 4th pick, a credit. He's run on the Churchill grass 2 times, Terry. Guess what he did in both of them?
Won.
He won indeed. And this horse has a shot to be a better horse today than he was in its last race in the second start after a layoff. So if you're watching us on YouTube, kindly hit the subscribe button and that bell so when we go live. Also, you'll see there's a link down there to share our content. If you'd kindly do that, we'd appreciate it. If you're on Twitter, make sure you follow us and then retweet the show. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere else. Social media is available. Horse Race, the number 2 day. You're going to want to do that because tomorrow you're not going to want to miss tomorrow at all. With myself and Terry and 22-1 Tom, we're going to get together. We're going to do our Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks double. And then we're going to all present our pick sixes. We have, thanks to Scary Creations, a $500 budget. That makes Terry happy. But might sound like a lot of money, but I think over the last few years, they've paid like $250,000 to $1 million on those 20-cent pick sixes. So well worth the big investment in that respect. And then we're going to put one together as a team. And each one of us is going to have a veto. So if Terry makes a ridiculous pick like Hasta La Vista in that last race, I'm just going to veto it out so he can't beat me. And then, but he can tell me, you know what, Rich, you're a fool. So I'm going to lock it in. So it should be a lot of fun, a little bit of contention. And I'm going to do my best to throw out Terry's favorite horse tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and then just cost us on that pick 4, right? That pick 6 at the end. At the end of the, I'll bet it. I'll leave it off, and then it'll pay, and I'll be like, oh, and it'll pay like $300,000, and then Terry will never forgive me. Yeah. All right, last race on this terrific Terry Thursday at Churchill Downs. they're going to get away from the stakes and give people a chance to get out of the track and get home.
Yeah, it's a 1 mile race. It's a claiming race, $30,000 claiming price, $56,000 purse for 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 3 races, or 3-year-olds.
That's a key thing to remember at Churchill Downs. You hear a lot of folks talk about this when they prognosticate. Is it a 1-turn route or a 2-turn route? Churchill Downs is a 1-turn route where they run a mile or more. And 1-turn races tend to act more like sprints, where speed does have a little bit more of a impact than 2-turn races, where fitness is probably more important. At the 1 mile, 1-turn track here in Churchill, you're looking for tactical speed. Emmitt Smith, best running back football history, at least according to yards gained. 22% of the time they go wire to wire, a little bit of a rail discount. So maybe my Romeo Lima gets dinged a little bit. 2 and 3 are the best place to be. 4 through 7 are fair. The worst place to be is on the outside, Terry. So middle speed in the final race of the day. And right now, my Romeo Lima was wishing the 1-horse continued to scratch because that one has the gas.
That's right. Most, there's several with speed, but that 2 shows the most. So I think that 2 is going to get that quarter pole first. The 2 also has a small overlay from about 3.5 to 1, or about 3 3/4 to 1 to 9 to 2. The 8 has an overlay from 7 to 5 to 6 to 1, and none of them show any par plus numbers, and all but the 5 have C zones.
So yeah, we do 10,000 simulations. We use speed figures for sim odds. We simulate, project out the speed figure, and then based upon how many times they win our simulations, we calculate our own odds, our sim odds. We want our odds to be lower, not necessarily in the morning line odds. We talk to many folks who set the morning line odds. They don't really set odds to what they think the horse's odds are to win, but what they think the public will bet those horses to. And then, so we are looking for our simulation odds to be lower than post-time odds. And our par plus lets us know of those 10,000 simulations, how many times they ran a speed figure at or above par. In this case, for race number 1288, Michael Irvin, none of which have produced any of those. For the last time today, Terry, our total pace, the 2 and the 9, they want to be out front. Everybody else wants to be middle back, a little bit of versatility with the 4. So get to the front. You got a great chance to win this one. Does look like my Romeo Lima, about a length quicker than Sant and Timo. On the inside too, Terry, 2's going to set the tone early on. He'll have to hang on because he doesn't have a whole lot of late speed. That goes to Pike Place, who won't be that far off the lead either. Pike Place also has the top total pace, 4 points quicker than Mucho Mojo, Saint and Timo, dropping off from there. So these 3 look a little bit better than the rest from a total pace perspective. Our good friend Chris Parmalou would give it its stamp of approval. Who did you give the stamp of approval for the W?
I like the 8, Long Crow. He finished second in his last race. His best start speed is closest to the average winning speed. Then number 3, Mucho Mojo, is my second choice. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning jockey. My Romeo Lima, the 2 is my third choice, finished third in his last race, can improve at the shorter distance, and he has a high percentage winning jockey. The 7, American Hero, is my long shot. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters. That's it for me.
I got the 3-8 just in different order than you, Terry. I put the 3 on top. Mucho Mojo, better fractions last time out. Like to see that. Ran better pace early and late with a Z pattern, where the early pace was here, a little bit of a rest in the middle of the race, and then a second wind down the stretch. Long Crow, the 8-horse, did finish second last out, is a closer, is going to be coming at the end of the race. The resume says that the second race after a layoff is going to be almost identical to the first one, which was almost a W. Pike Place, the 10-horse, Terry, that one is the biggest and only class dropper, and it's a big class drop in here. Trainer Paul McGee, when he puts horses into the claiming level, not many of them, but when he does, they win at 37%. That is a huge alpha angle for the trainer. Then finally, I'm going to close out with the 5-horse, Mr. Peterkin. This is our good friend Tom, who will join us again tomorrow for our Kentucky Oaks, Kentucky Derby double, as well as our pick 6. Tom loves these horses, the kind that he thinks, is it going to win? Nah, but in the money, I think, yeah, he's run pretty well at Churchill Downs. 5 times out, finished third in those 3 times. And last time out, ran 2 seconds faster than he did in the previous race. An indication that horse could be coming to form here. Maybe make it 4 thirds in 6 races at the Churchill Downs track. And as you mentioned, Terry, that's it for me too.
All right.
Our total picks for the day in race number 1. I think the 8-horse won that race. We had the superfecta here. Terry, 7-horse won race number 2 to go live. These horses finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So if you put Terry 7 with the 8, 1, and 9, you had the superfecta there too.
That's true. I should have put yours with mine then. The 1.
You would have had another superfecta. Race number 3, you got all of these first-time starters. Interestingly, right now, the 12 and the 13 are co-favorites at 5-2. Next up is looks like the 8-horse, yep. La Fantastica. That one is 5-1. Minty is 6-1, the 4-horse. Miss Ellie, the 1-horse, is 8-1. Are there any 7 and 8 in here? The 7, 10-1. So there you go, folks. Those are the favorites for the 2-year-olds where just about anything can happen. All right, Terry, that winds up a pretty long show, 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yep.
Any final thoughts before you and I get out of here and then get back tomorrow to do all the fun stuff for the weekend at Churchill?
Yeah, well, make sure you subscribe to YouTube if you haven't yet. Hit that bell so you're going to get the notification tomorrow about what our show is going to be. And also go down and copy that link to send to all your friends, relatives, everybody you know, so they can come and check us out. Go to our social sites and give us a thumbs up at Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, and TikTok, the number 2. I'm sorry, Horse Race, the number 2 day.
I wish we owned TikTok. Well, maybe not nowadays, but
yeah, maybe not. Yeah. Anyway, other than that, hey, good luck with the Kentucky Derby and the Oaks Day. Have a great time with it, and hope everybody's doing well.
100%. Again, just a reminder: Kentucky Derby. All of the stuff that you see when I went into our picks today and more are available over at our picks for the Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks. Friday and Saturday full cards are out. There is a link down in the description below. The worst, take a look at our picks and then see how they compare to yours. Maybe we identified something that you missed, or there's something in there that you want confirmation on. We've put all that in our wagering guide or just our picks over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description down below. Make sure you use that so they know where you came from. And today, if you want to play a little bit of Turf Paradise, those picks are free. So make sure that you head on over there to get Turf Paradise picks, of course. No matter what you're doing for the rest of this terrific Terry Thursday, most likely getting ready for the Oaks and Kentucky Derby weekend. Certainly hope that all your life endeavors, all your goals and dreams have God's grace, God's favor, and that all of your horse racing picks end up in
the winner's circle.
Yes, indeed. We'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to that one. Have a great Thursday.